Buongiorno, everyone. Welcome to the instant match reaction after that 2-1 defeat home to Leicester City. And it feels like a bit of a too little, too late from Newcastle there, really. In a game that was quite tight first half, quite pleased to go in at half time level with Leicester City, Champions League. Leicester City, a team that's now went 1 point off the top after beating us today. But did they really test with that much first half? I mean, Vardy had that one that was offside. They were clearly targeting the centre of the park, the midfield and the defence to create their opening. And then second half, we didn't really do much until the inclusion of Jacob Murphy brought a bit of energy into the pitch. How Sean Longstaff lasted 90 minutes is just beyond me, because I'm not going to go into rant mode and everything about Sean Longstaff today or Newcastle or Bruce too much, to be honest, but I give him the benefit of the doubt. If you watched the live watch along before the game, I said, right, he's in the middle of the park today. He's partnershiping his brother, Matty Longstaff, two local lads in the middle of the park today. His dream come true. That's everyone's dream come true as a local lad to represent your local club. And he just performs like that again. I mean, there's one moment when he's running backwards. He's dribbling backwards for about 2 minutes, all the way back. It's what the fuck are you doing? You kind of pick out a pass from 5 yards again. Simply not good enough. And maybe is that where it comes from? The question of the team lineup, is that what cost Newcastle today? Because Murphy dropped when he's been playing well. Almiron not performing anywhere near his ability again. Wilson, again, no real chances, isolated. Although the odd time that the ball was played into the box and along the 6-yard line, he was nowhere to be seen, which was strange. But it was, for me, Newcastle lost the game in the middle of the park today. And they always will do until January comes around, where we desperately need to sign a centre midfielder. We really need a box-to-box midfielder. We need an engine-type midfielder, because both goals you look at today, very good build-up play, excellent finishes. Darlow's got no chance, but you can see the likes of Matty and Shelby for the second goal just jogging back. How are you offering these players, Tielemans and Maddison, top-class players, all that space to put the ball in the back of the net? Simply not good enough. And then Newcastle, finally, Andy Carroll finally has come home and scored a goal for Newcastle. Again, during the watch-along, and every watch-along, I've always put a bet on Andy Carroll to score a goal since he came back to Newcastle 18 months ago. I finally got some money back, 85 quid off a fiver on in-play betting, just for him to score, not even just to score next. Probably lost about 150 though. Cheers, Andy. So I'm only about 50 quid down now. After he finally came off the bench and scored. But even that was again too little, too late. Those subs, Andy Carroll pumping forward. He looked dead up for it. He looked to prove a point. Obviously, you've got Gale on the bench there. These are players that are going to be fighting for their contracts. They're free to speak to their clubs now. They're wanting a new deal. There's only a few months left. They're going to give the role. These changes should have been made earlier, or changes to the starting 11 probably should have been made. But Leicester, the better team today, and did they deserve that 3 points, Keg?
They probably did, yeah. I think you said, like, the quality shows. Like, Leicester are a glorified, basically, top 4 team for me. I think people still maybe hang on about the Premier League win. What was that, 5 years ago? 2015, 16, something like that. But the past few years, they've been there. They've been knocking on the door. Last year, they were basically in 3rd position all season up until post-lockdown, where they kind of bottled it and ended up finishing 5th. Now they're in 3rd, only a point off being tied top. Like, they're a really, really classy outfit. They've got some outstanding individual players, like you mentioned, Tielemans. Harvey Barnes is a great young player. Maddison, top quality. Vardy, one of the best strikers in the Premier League. We've got some great individuals. Schmeichel is an experienced keeper. Justin James is a really good player. The centre-back, Fofana. They're a good team. But the first half especially, it was like you go, I go kind of thing. Like, each team had brief spells where they were on top. They were attacking, they were trying. There was no real clear-cut chances. I thought there was moments where we did look quite good, looked like we could get a goal. But I think they always did look the more clinical. Vardy, from early on, he was making runs in behind. He was getting a few good balls played into him. One of them ended up in the back of the net, but luckily he just strayed a yard or two offside. Yeah, like they were the better team, and I think Bruce pretty much deserves to lose that game because we did just hold off for 80 minutes. It's kind of a typical tale where, like, a stat came up there. We're top of the league in terms of goals scored in the last 10 minutes. Like, this is typical Brucey. Like, you just hold off and hold off and hold off and then realize, oh, we're going to lose this 2-3-0. We'll better turn it up a gear. Might as well get a consolation. But that's all it ever really is, consolation. Like, I think the best example was League Two Newport. It took about 87 minutes of getting dominated by a League Two team to think, oh, we're going to get put out of the cup here by a League Two team. Better score a goal, take it to penalties. We might get a chance. It is too little too late. Like, everyone was throwing it in for the last 10 minutes. Everyone looked pretty good. Sean Longstaff was playing more of a number 10 and looked a bit better. Yedlin was trying to get some crosses in. Murphy was getting some good crosses in. Carroll was throwing himself about. Carroll was like a man on a mission today. Unfortunately, like, Wilson wasn't really getting in the right areas. I think he's probably learning that he's not really going to get any chances playing up top. I think the best thing he can do is what we're seeing Joelinton do for the majority of last season, track back. That's the only way he's going to get into the game, standing up top on the last man. He's not even going to get a sniff. He's not going to get a touch of the ball. So maybe that's why he wasn't in them positions earlier on in the season. That's where he was exactly. Like, his first 6 goals for the club, 3 were penalties, 3 were tap-ins on the line. Right place, right time. Fox in the box. Poacher. If he was in those positions today, he could have had 2 goals. A couple of times we had great balls fizzed across the 6-yard box. No one to tap them in. I think the last one was more frustrating because Carroll was on the pitch as well. We've got 2 strikers on the pitch, playing some good balls in. No one there to tap them in. Like, that's the frustrating thing. Like, so I don't know what was the tactic today. What actually were the substitutions? I didn't really understand. Like, we played better after the substitutions, I'm not going to lie, but I've got no idea what the shape was. And to be honest, I've got no idea if the players knew what the shape was. Like, Joelinton came off for John Joe Shelvey. Yedlin came off for Andy Carroll. Like, what position are we playing? I think Murphy looked like he was playing right wing, but also so was Matty Longstaff. Sean Longstaff was a striker, but also so was Andy Carroll. Like, what we're doing here? What's going on? I've got no idea what the shape was in the last 10 minutes, but funny enough, we actually did look better. I think it was just because it was like every man get forward, try and get a goal. Like, one was script and equaliser. It was almost reminiscent of the 2-2 with Everton last season. We showed absolutely bollocks all in that game until the 92nd minute, where we pulled 2 goals back and got a point out of it. I thought today was going to be the same thing, but too little, too late. This is the Premier League. It's the most physical, competitive league in the world. You can't sit off for 80, 90 minutes and expect to get anything out of it. Like, we need to show more quicker.
It's a good point here made by Nick. I think when you look at Jordan on there, because a lot of fans are crying out to see Almiron again and to do better and get back to how well we know he can play. But Murphy being dropped is a strange one because of how well Murphy coming in done well, and Murphy being the bright, energetic spark off the bench as well today. So there's definitely something in there why Joelinton plays every week. There's got to be. But again, there's questions to be asked all over. I think the main question today was who was going to replace Isaac Hayden in the middle of the park. And it was Sean that did that, and I touched on him earlier, having the chance to seize it alongside his brother in the middle of the park. He just didn't do it. It didn't do it again for me the day. Like,
it was a big opportunity from the day.
Yeah, Matty was a bit quiet. I played 3 games in a week though, out of the blue, so you can't be too harsh on him. But what are we doing on the training ground as well? I mean, we mentioned there the tactics at the end, the subs at the end, what formation are we playing? I mean, who knows? But today boiled down to just showing Leicester a bit too much respect, waiting to go down, waiting to go behind, and then waiting too long to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think Sean deserves an opportunity to play today, especially after the other day. The likes of Yedlin and Shah, who's been atrocious for the last year or so, got a chance and pulled it out the bag. They were great. I thought Shah had a good game today. Yedlin not as good as the other day, but I think he raised too high of a bar. Like, he was outstanding the other day. Good game today, not startling, but decent enough. I think Sean, he deserved the chance to go in there alongside his brother. I called for it in my lineup prediction, but you only really get the chance. Shelvey was there on the bench waiting. Jeff Hendricks on the bench. I think Hayden's only got the 1 match suspension, so I think he should be back for the next Premier League match. Yeah, not good enough. That was his opportunity, and for me, he's blown it. Let's say with Hayden coming back from suspension, Shelby coming back from his operation, talks of low knees coming in, maybe Hamza Chowdhury. Like, I think Sean's blown it. He's proved he had moments today. To be fair to him, I don't want to be too harsh on him. He had moments where he looked all right. A couple of decent forward balls, which is the biggest thing. Every time he gets the ball, it's just automatically backwards. Even when you say he was dribbling backwards, he took the ball a good 20 yards in the wrong direction. Like, what's going on? Like, do you need lines on the pitch like the fucking supermarkets? Do you need, it's not a one-way. It's not a one-way system, mate. It's a football pitch. Like, stop going backwards. Like, you're not going to score a goal by running backwards. Like, few forward passes, but same old. Turn back. Who's behind us? That's his game, and like we don't want to see that. There's been talk in the live stream, just having a bit of joke on saying who we're going to bring back, and people mention like Bentaleb. It's the same story with him. Like, is Hamza Chowdhury going to be an improvement on anything we've got? Is it going to be another Bentaleb 2.0? I don't know, but Sean Longstaff, he's not the answer at the minute. Hopefully, Matty can stay fit for as long as possible, because he does bring so much more than what his brother does.
And we've got Giaz here. I don't understand why Fraser isn't playing. He's still having a bit of an Andy Carroll moment at the tune Ryan Fraser, in terms of he kind of keep up his match fitness. He comes on, plays 90 minutes out of nowhere, and he's ruled out for a while. He was obviously pictured training on Friday. He wasn't fit enough to start or even come on the day. We might see him in a week's time at Arsenal in the FA Cup, but there's a lot of changes that need to happen at Newcastle when these players come back. Like, we need just to get Fraser and St. Maximin on the pitch together to start them definitely crying out like a 4-2-3-1 formation, because there was no chemistry at all the day between Almiron, Julian and Wilson. None whatsoever. How many times did we see Wilson making a run and Almiron couldn't find him, or if he did manage to beat the defender with his pass, Almiron, Wilson didn't know which direction the ball was going to be going in. There was just, he had no cohesion in the final third, and would never look like scoring until we made the subs later on.
I would like to see that 4-2-3-1. I think that's definitely the way forward, but we need the right players at the right time. Like Miggy, he's not a winger for me. Like, I've never been a fan of Miggy playing on the wing. Number 10's his best position. If we can get him in there, number 10, behind the striker, with Fraser and Maxi either side, that's the way we're going to look good. At the minute, playing like this formation does okay. It does its job. It's just defensive, back to the wall. The three centre-backs do a great job, to be fair. Fernandez, Shaw and Clark. Can't really complain with any of them at the minute. Like, we need something's got to give. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if there has been a bust-up in the dressing room. I don't know why Maxi's taken so long to come back. Like, I've known players to come back from COVID a lot longer than this. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was about 40 years old, he was only on the sideline for about 7 days when he had it. Like, why is Maximin out for 3 weeks?
Why is he in France?
Yeah, like,
why is he in France still? You know, he's been in France for about a week now. He's still in France.
Yeah, something's going on behind the scenes. I don't know what it is, but it's not good. Like, we need these players back fit. We need some Maximin back in Newcastle, training with the team, back in the starting lineup. Same with Fraser, and we need to try something different. And I know it's Bruce. It's like asking a fucking monkey to speak Chinese. Like, he hasn't got an idea. He just doesn't know what the crack is. He's scared to change formation. He's scared to try new things. But I don't know. Something's got to start giving forward to start playing better. And I know people are going to say get rid of Bruce, but howie lads, be real. That's not going to happen under Mike Ashley. He's doing his job. His goal is to finish 17th, and he's going to achieve that with flying colours. So he's not going anywhere. Whatever it is going to happen on the pitch between the players.
I will see what can change next week against Arsenal in the FA Cup. What changes are made if we see the likes of Fraser or anyone else return to the squad. Let us know. Keep your comments coming after the reaction there. The 2-1 defeat at home at Leicester. We've got player ratings and fan cams to come. Subscribe to the Map by Channel TV and enjoy yourself.